Okay, hi guys, it's me, Pablo.
And here today we're blah 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 blah, you get it. This is a recurring segment that we do that everybody loves. This week in Ben Shapiro, also known as Twibs.
Welcome to Twibs.
Twibs, he's one of the internet's favorite guys for a long time. He kind of just makes crap up. A lot of the times he's sort of full of crap.
Twibs.
The Supreme Court, come on! The Supreme Court. There you go. Fuck the Supreme Court! The Supreme Court. All right! Yeah. I'm Ami Horowitz, and the U.S. Supreme Court is poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. But this video is not about abortion, but it's about illuminating how the left feels about our founding institutions.
Okay, so before we get into the man himself, this guy.
Bed made of money. Hey.
I thought we'd look at his, the organization that he co-founded, the Daily Pervert, I think it's called.
Perverts.
And this is some kind of a recurring thing that he does. He gets this guy, what's this guy's name? Ami Horowitz, who I guess is the Daily Weirdos, the Daily Wire's Connor O'Malley or something. Like he goes around on the street and shouts at people.
The Supreme Court, come on! The Supreme Court. There you go. Fuck the Supreme Court! The Supreme Court. All right.
And I guess the first thing I would like to say is God bless those people. God bless those young people wherever they are for putting up with this crap.
But this video is not about abortion, but it's about illuminating how the left feels.
How the left feels.
About our founding institutions. Beautifully said, eloquently said.
I mean, I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
But yeah, maybe. Yeah. Something. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
You feel something.
Yeah, I do.
You're not sure what that feeling is.
You know what? I got an idea. I want to get people of a certain political persuasion. I want to get their take. I want to get their view on the Supreme Court. So where should I go? Should I talk to some lawyers? Maybe some academics or whatever? No, actually, I got it. A much better way to go about this is to bother 20-somethings on their way to class in the streets of New York.
Miss Gomez made her distance from the crowd, jumped the school fence herself, and ran inside to grab her two kids. She sprinted out of the school with them. So does this sound like a case where everything that could have been done was done by the local PD? So this is either a failure of training or this is cowardice. Or both. That is all this is.
Okay.
And listen, I understand the challenge is there is no one who is more pro-police than I am. That person does not exist in the United States.
Calm down. Jeez. Oh, man. Poor Betty Shapiro. This thing's really scrambling his brain, this tragedy that happened. You know, they're all talking about this, but this one's, he's having a hard time with this one. Just within seconds, he's like,
they're cowards. These police are cowards. Those kids were getting killed.
And then just a couple seconds later,
but I love them. Guys, don't unsubscribe. These cops are cowards and morons. They should have let me go in there. They should have let me oil my little ass up and go in there. I would have gone doing.
But Ben Shapiro's stuck in this impossible situation. I actually really don't. I'm not jealous of him in this situation because him and all these morons like him on YouTube, for the past month, they've been like, our kids are in danger. Our kids are in danger from, from gays. From gay people. So he's walking this impossible tightrope of, I know that my audience is like, the kids, we got to protect the kids. We've been saying that for months and months. So these kids, what happened to these kids is horrible. I got to say something about it. But I can't say anything bad about the cops. So
these cops are cowards, but I love them. But they're pieces of shit, but I love them. I will suck all of their but they're shit.
Entirely upend the left's favorite talking points. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro. Here he goes.
The Ben Shapiro Show is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
Oh
I
my
talk about them
God.
every single show. Why haven't you gotten a VPN yet?
Plug
at
the
ExpressVPN
VPN
right
at a
now.
time like this?
ExpressVPN.com/Ben.
I know this is a tragedy, but I still gotta plug my crap. I still gotta jam these videos filled with make as much money as I can off of this crap.
for that is very obvious. The White House wants to talk about broad-scale gun control. They don't actually want to talk about the things that would prevent or minimize the problem of school shootings. They do not actually want to do that because we all know what those solutions actually are. The solutions are things like locked doors, single points of entry but multiple exits, armed security guards who actually know what they are doing on premises, the police department being able to respond quickly and effectively to school shooters. Those.
This is from KXAN here in Austin, Texas. In 2021, researchers at the University of Albany and the RAND Corporation found school resource officers, quote, do not prevent school shootings or gun-related incidents, even though they do effectively reduce other forms of violence. Oh, well, that's okay. That's fine. Another study in the Journal of the American Medical Association looked at 133 school shootings between 1980 and 2019 and found, quote, no association between having an armed officer and the deterrence of violence. Jeez. The report also added, armed guards were not associated with significant reduction rates of injuries during school shootings. Jeez. That doesn't look good. Touches on the door stuff that he was talking about here, too. Locked doors and more armed guards. During the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary, the school's security door was locked at the time. The gunman gained access by shooting through a window in Parkland. Windows. Shit. Okay, we can't have those at schools anymore. Sorry, kids. But you're going to have school in basically a prison. Sorry. In Parkland, an armed school resource officer on campus failed to stop the shooter from getting inside. So, this is a problem that's going to be very tricky to deal with here in this country that I live in. But so we could talk about this stuff, but let's not just make stuff up. That would be my first thing.
Make pee-pee, make pee-pee.
What I care about is living in a country where, decent people can live happy lives, actually.
That's on YouTube.
I don't want to put 10 million men out of work, and the cascading effect from that will wreck your country.
Yeah, sitting down with Ben and talking to Ben.
Hey, and welcome to the Sunday special. I am super excited to be joined by Tucker Carlson, and we're going to jump into his brand new book, Ship of Fools, which is already a massive bestseller on the New York Times charts and on charts that are more reputable than the New York Times charts. We'll get into all of that in just a second. But first, we have to talk about your imminent death. So, you're going to die at some point here, and that's why you need life insurance. Life insurance isn't the most enjoyable thing to think about. Having life insurance is a really good feeling because you know that if you do plot, your family won't have to start a GoFundMe to stay afloat. Policy Genius is the easy way. You need life insurance, okay? I know you don't think you do. I know you think you're never going to die, especially if you're a young listener to this show. I promise you, one day you'll be on your deathbed, you'll be like, God, it's too late to have gone to Policy Genius. That's why you should have done it before, you idiot. Go to
Without, by the way, let me just say, the economic impetus behind family destruction is totally underappreciated by conservatives. So they looked at the landscape of inner city America for 50 years and they're like, nope, family formation's gone. Like the overwhelming majority of kids grow up without a father. That's a cultural problem. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, it is a cultural problem. That's one way to describe it. But what's its root? Why did it happen? Well,
that's a good question.
Look at rural America now, where you're seeing the incidence of fatherlessness like spike.
That's on YouTube.
And?
Disgusting and probably illegal.
Okay.
It's unknown in my neighborhood. I live in a rich neighborhood. I'm sure you do too. Everyone's married, okay? There's no divorce where I live.
Oh, hell yeah. Talkin' Ben. This is my version of Heat. When Robert De Niro and Al Pacino sat down at the table, people were like, oh. This is Tucker Carlson's thing. He's saying things that are, he's saying things that like Bernard Saunders, people like that say.
Make pee-pee.
Weird.
He's saying things that guy would say. But this is Tuck Carlson tone in a nutshell here.
You have the disintegration of the family because of an economic factor. There are other factors, and of course.
So are you calling for a redistribution into these areas? I mean, because
I'm calling for whatever it takes to stop this.
Right, so this is where I was asking about the Bernie Sanders crossover. Where do you see the Bernie Sanders program going too far?
Bernie Sanders is a buffoon, okay?
I know you
and
do.
Actually totally insincere. But I'm saying conservatives go on and have for generations about how important the family. They don't mean it at all.
Yeah, there you go. That's the perfect Tuck Carlson clip. I mean, I found stuff like this before where he does basically the same thing. But this is like the perfect, it's just all of it in one. oh, actually, the reason that, but conservatives always say, well, if the family would just stay together, people wouldn't be in poverty. Well, actually, it's something that this guy would say.
Weird.
Actually, it's because they don't have enough money they don't get married. Okay, Tuck. Mr. Bowtie, he's moving in the right direction. But then it comes to, Bernard Sanders, the one guy who's actually in the government, in a high position in government, offering the solutions to fix that stuff. He's like, that guy's a moron. That's Tucker Carlson in a nutshell.
Okay, you you.
So let me ask you right now.
Are you aware? Are you aware
that I am a card-carrying member of the Daily Wire? I have a subscription. Okay? And Ben Shapiro does this amazing show. It's actually amazingly produced show. There's clearly dumping a bunch of money into this crap. But they're these little 10-minute short films, short documentaries basically, called Ben Shapiro Debunked. He debunks things' asses. He debunks the asses of things. He does this to things. First, he asks you,
are you aware?
Then you say,
no.
Then he does this. Okay.
But the left thinks of an economic ideal, an example of how socialism can shape society.
All right. Debunked. Scandinavia is
when
a
I
socialist.
talk about democratic socialism, I'm not looking at Venezuela.
Shut your old ass up. Scandinavia is a socialist paradise. He's going to debunk that's ass. Does anybody think it's a paradise? That's okay, so we're off to a bad start already.
Democratic socialism, I'm not looking at Venezuela. I'm not looking at Cuba.
Okay.
I'm looking at countries like Denmark and Sweden.
Jesus,
First,
Bernie, calm down.
Let's define socialism. Communal ownership of the means of production and distribution. It is important to differentiate between socialist programs and socialist economies.
Okay.
They are not the same thing.
Right.
Socialist programs redistribute. Socialist economies abolish private property and nationalize industry in order to override the profit incentives that drive the market. For example, nationalized healthcare is socialized medicine, but Canada is not a socialist economy.
Okay.
It is a privatized capitalist economy with socialist redistribution programs.
Fair enough, all right.
It's an important distinction because it allows us to see what works and what doesn't work. Socialist programs are always inefficient because they involve taking money from those who are most efficient and giving it to those who are less efficient through governmental compulsion, through force.
What's funny, this is a paywalled thing. So what's funny about this is a kid can really be a kid behind the paywall. Behind the paywall where a kid can be a kid. So if you didn't follow that, he's like, well, these places aren't socialist, they just have socialist programs. Canada does. These Nordic country does. Okay, yeah, totally fine.
Socialist programs are always inefficient because they involve taking money from those who are most efficient and giving it to those who are less efficient through governmental compulsion, through force.
First he's like, okay, so these programs, some of these programs are socialist. Okay. And then he says, and they're always inefficient. He even brings up healthcare in that example, which we've known for a while. I mean, the kind of the info is very easily accessible and kind of well publicized. U.S. health spending twice other countries with worse results. So, always inefficient. Ours is the most inefficient, but socialist programs are always inefficient. Ben, I sleep on a
bed made of
bullshit.
Money.
On a
bed made of money.
Bullshit. On a bed made of bullshit, I was trying to do.
Now, to Scandinavia. Well, Bernie Sanders says,
look at countries in Scandinavia. Everybody in those countries has health care as a human right. It is available to all people.
All those countries are ardently pro-free trade and rely heavily on the free market.
Some people in the US associate the Nordic model with some sort of socialism. Denmark is far from a socialist planned economy.
Right.
Denmark is a market economy.
Denmark is actually ranked above the United States in the Heritage Foundation Index of Economic Freedom.
Okay, this is from Matt Brunig at the People's Policy Project. The second thing they say is that the Nordic countries are quite socialist, but they do quite bad as a result. This is how Ben Shapiro used to deal with the countries. There's a quote. As always, the theory of Marxism is never to blame for the failure of Marxism, and Denmark is yet another example of how socialism can hamstring an economy. Whoops! This recorded just a couple days ago. These places are booming free market economy. Couple of years ago, these are Marxist. Which is it, buddy? You all right? You doing this?
Prosperity is generated by innovation, by free trade, by people exchanging goods and services.
Okay.
And then socialists come in and pretend that they're the ones who created the prosperity by redistributing all the goods.
The kind of market, the kind of system I like, that does innovation. Now these places are far left. They don't do innovation, bro. They just try to take credit for it. From the People's Policy Project. The Nordic countries have higher business research and development spending, more venture capital investment, and file more triadic patents, i.e. patents filed simultaneously in Japan, Europe, and blah, 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 blah. It's because that means you're not a patent troll, basically. Like, the US has a ton of patents, but a lot of them are just patent trolls. It's also worth noting that the Global Innovation Index ranks Sweden, too, ahead of the US. Oh, crap. While ranking Denmark 6 and Finland 8 nearby. Oh, Jesus Christ. In fact, the Nordic countries tend to have higher startup rates than the US has. As to whether any of these new companies are successful, the answer is certainly yes. As Murad Ahmed wrote in the Financial Times in 2015, Stockholm in Sweden is a veritable unicorn factory. That's an annoying thing to call something. Meaning that it produces a heavily disproportionate share of billion-dollar companies. Whoops, Ben. Whoops, Ben. I mean, the guy has the weirdest job in the world. Here's a bunch of money. Just say things that are not true. You know what I mean?
Hey. Scandinavia does have high life expectancy and good health outcomes in areas like infant mortality.
Oh, very good.
But this predates the socialist programs.
Ooh!
In 1960, Norway had the highest life expectancy in the OECD, followed by Sweden, Iceland, and Denmark in 3rd, 4th, and 5th positions.
Okay, let's take a look at that. 1960, these good health outcomes of these countries, these good health outcomes, and he says Norway had the highest life expectancy in the OECD. But these predated these socialists. Remember how I defined socialist? Public health care, socialized health care. It predated that kind of stuff. When did Norway switch to a universal and mandatory right for all citizens public health care system? 1956. 1960, he starts at. 1956. These socialists. Oh, God, jeez. Sweden, the second one on that list, 1955. So remember, he's starting at 1960, second one on the list. So we got 1954, then 1955.
Between 1975 and the mid-1990s, Sweden dropped from being the 4th richest nation in the world to the 13th richest nation in the world.
Okay.
It's worse than that.
Oh.
In 1960...
So this is a weird one. And Ben's not an economist, and neither nor am I. But I looked into this, and he shows this graph here that in 1995, I think he just said that, like, Sweden's national wealth decrease, and then he shows this graph, and you see this big drop off, and you're like, oh my God. Little problemo with that. I kind of looked up, well, what's the big drop from? Sweden financial crisis, 1990 to 1994. Yeah, that's right around that time. That's right around there. Swedish financial crisis, 1990 to 1994. The Sweden financial crisis was a housing bubble that took place in Sweden and deflated in 1991, 1992. The government had to swoop in and help, just like we had to bail all this crap out. The perfect market failed again, and the government had to swoop in and fix this crap. But that's pretty funny. Ben Shapiro shows this graph, and he's like,
look at these socialist programs. Look at how bad they did.
Then you look into why did it do that? Oh, because of the market, the housing market. And this is great. At the end, remember all the stupid stuff that I read you about innovation. It's higher in these countries. There's more new businesses. Here's how he wraps it. He just pushes all the chips in at the end. Here we go.
Every population. If you leave home and come to the United States, there's a much better shot that you will do better in the United States than you would have at home.
Whoa.
There is no future in Scandinavia.
Oh my God.
They're not reproducing. They're not producing new products. They're not producing new companies. They're not producing innovation. Scandinavia is not a socialist paradise because there is no such thing as a socialist.
Oh, weird. No sources. Let's see. Maybe if I go down. No. No sources for that. That's interesting. Yeah. Oh, well, I did see. Let me hold on. Let's see.
Paradise. You will do better in the United States than you would have at home. There is no future in Scandinavia.
Okay, that's scary.
They're not reproducing.
That's
They're
scary.
not producing new products. They're not producing new companies.
That looks
They're not
bad.
producing innovation.
That looks scary.
Scandinavia is not a socialist paradise.
I agree because of those images that it's scary. Now, if we look at the actual information, then it's different. But I see that video. I go, whoa, baby. Whoa. No, I say. Okay?
Genitalia.
Senator, transgender medicine is a very complex...
The answer, clearly, is yes. As Levine even told a former Trump administration official.
Huh?
Just pause on that for a moment and think about how crazy that is.
All right, I will. Oh, Ben Shapiro, he's gonna debunk you. Oh, God, what is that?
Now, in the past few years, you've heard a lot of statements that sound like, we must not raise boys as boys and girls as girls.
Okay.
Because we just can't be sure that kids actually have the sex assigned to them at birth. You've heard that some people are men in women's bodies or women in men's bodies.
Ooh.
You may even have heard that if you're a straight dude and you don't want to have sex with a trans woman, meaning a biological male, this makes you gay.
What's interesting, so Ben debunks, in this one, Ben Shapiro is going to debunk. He's going to debunk the ass of transgender ideology. And I'm going to just go ahead and say that really all this is a guy reading a bunch of talking points. This whole one. Very well produced. Very expensively produced. I could imagine the editor editing this. You know, the people who edit Daily Wire stuff, they're like, oh, God, I'm doing this for a paycheck. Editing this little pervert, this little weirdo's crap. Jesus. He's just reading every single talking point you've ever heard about transgender stuff. But what I was thinking when I was watching this is I was like, this is kind of all the stuff that these people used to say about gay people. Like pretty much exactly like, it's like a man and it's for procreation and a man and a woman are the only ones who can do that. It's like the exact same stuff. And I was like, well, wait a second. I look through all these Ben Shapiro debunks and there's not a Ben Shapiro debunks gay. Ben Shapiro debunks gay. Why isn't there? Why transgender and not gay? I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that Republicans, like just the population of Republicans, when they're polled, more than half they've moved on from being lunatics about gay stuff. You know, a lot of these lunatics are kind of regressing on this one. They're kind of like, gay people are scary again. But they've done a lot of polls with Republicans, and they found out that now, like something like 55%, more than half, of Republicans are like, they're okay with gay people now. 55%. So it's a majority. So Ben Shapiro's like, kind of like, okay. He's always said a bunch of anti-gay stuff, but he's kind of like, we'll move to trans. We'll move on to hating trans people because the polls on that are way different. So this is from Pew Research Center. So this poll is called Deep Partisan Divide on Whether Greater Acceptance of Transgender People is Good for Society. These stats right here are amazing. Large party gaps and some demographic differences on whether acceptance of transgender people is good or bad for society. So they ask people, is transgender acceptance good or bad for society? Let's look at Republicans. 54% say it's bad. It's very or somewhat bad. And only 15 say very or somewhat good. Ooh, boy, guys. You all right? So 55% of Republicans are now like, no, gay people are fine. Gay people are fine. But then you ask them, what about transgender people? Nope. Only 15% are like, it seems fine. Only like 15% are like, it seems fine. And then you go to, if it's Democrats, 13% say very somewhat bad. Okay, guys. But 59, and this is pretty predictable, 59% of them say very or somewhat good. So I think that's probably what it is. He just knows he can't get away with that one. He probably wants to do it. Ben Shapiro debunks gays. Gays, he debunks them. But he knows he's not going to get away with it even with his audience. So I'll just do the trans thing. Ben Shapiro, you are a little lunatic. Everybody knows it.
Hey.
You're easy to make fun of because you're a kook. And you take advantage of kooks and people who are doing this. So kiss my ass, you little turd, you. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you haven't yet gotten one of the shirts, if you want to support the show, to get all the details on how to get one of these shirts, go to the description below this video. This shirt is actually custom made for maximum flexibility when you
beat a kid in Walmart.
All right? You know, I'm not even going to say it. You know what it is. You know what it is. Wednesday, it feels like you're
at gunpoint.
You know, Wednesday is one of those days where you say...
You think that's funny?
You know, Wednesday is one of those days where we all look in the mirror and we say...
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on?
And then you say, you know what I'm going to need to get through today is a...
Blue Chew.
Well, guys, have a good rest of this crap, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Hey, guys, it's me with my weird face and odd hair. Please subscribe on Patreon, because you're only getting a fraction of the crap. Oh! And also books, you know, I talk about, do book report in the Patreon.
Interdimensional Steve, he's one of the humans. Oh, by the way.
Jesus. Oh my god, no, I can't. For only 25, oh my god, why is it doing that? For only 25 bones as a patron, you could get your name up here like Mr. Feeney, Steph Fries, Colin Summers, Jensen. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Jensen? Casualty, Gonzo, Matt, all these people. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Leaf, Thorian, Old Jarmingus, Red Pimp, Steve Gonzalez, oh my god, keep that little Smoggies in here, Bob Saget, jeez, oh, he died. Andrew Lukic, Nando, Bags, all these motherfuckers, bro, what? It's crazy back here. Clap Bomb, Brooke Smith, of course. Who else, man? That one guy? Tobes, you know, Tuda Virus, the Dude Weekend, the Deacons, what? Chris Garcia, all these, Matthew Gass, Ada Lynn, you know, oh my god, these people have been supporting the program, and, you know, they're the reason it keeps going. They, you know, without them, it's not gonna happen, okay? I'll walk into the ocean, okay? So please become a, oh my god, bye guys, love you.